7, and we're making our picks. I say this every week, but for real, season goes by way too quick, and for me that way it's gonna be over. Let's jump into this. What is up, football fans? We are making our picks for this week. Hopefully, it's not at all. Maybe in some situations we want it to be as crazy as last week, because last week was nuts. Chock full of honey roasted nuts. The Browns beating the 49ers, the Jets beating the Eagles, the Giants should have beaten the Bills. Craziness, absolute craziness. We'll get to all that, but first and foremost, I do have to shout out a few people. I do have to shout out some new patrons. And Peter Pan, okay, Jeremy, Mike, New York Fan 023, Andrew, Brett, your boy Mike, Christopher, Orgy of Oracles, and Han. Thank you guys so much for becoming patrons. If you want to become a patron, it's linked in the description. Over on the Patreon, there's special videos that no one else has, sees, little behind the scenes stuff, all that cool stuff. So if you want to check it out, go ahead, go over. You got special tiers and all that other stuff over there. And then on the membership side, we have Ron, Roxy, Tony, Jason, and Kieran. Hopefully I said your name right. Thank you guys so much for becoming members. If you want to become a member, there's a join button next to the subscribe button. Members, you get special videos as well, but also members get some cool perks when it comes to the live streams. You get special emojis and stuff like that during the live streams that I do every Sunday. So check it out as well. Now, one last thing I do have to shout out, and today's sponsor is literally what this whole video is going to be about, and I'm going to use their site to make the picks for this week's video, and that is BetUS. If you don't know about BetUS, I'm going to show you how their website is, and like I said, we're going to use their site to make the picks, but BetUS is a very reliable, cool betting site. Why don't I just show it to you? So this is BetUS. You look over here, you have football, baseball, basketball, ice hockey, golf, tennis, soccer, martial arts, horse racing, as much as you can think. But this is the NFL. You can bet by quarters. They have prop bets for each game. So say we go to the Dolphins, Eagles, and you select it. You got different prop bets. Dolphins touchdown, field goals, first scoring play of the game. You can make those types of props, all that cool stuff. You can college football, NCAA, Canadian football. You can predict the draft for 2024. This site has a ton of cool stuff. Go check it out. And like it says here, you'll receive 125% matched up to $100 if you click the link in the description or tagged as the #1 comment. So go check it out, and BetUS, thank you for sponsoring this video. But like I said, it doesn't just stop there, because I'm going to be using BetUS, these beautiful human beings, for the picks. And we're going to start here with, bam, Thursday night, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to the Saints. Thursday night football, 8:15. The Saints are giving a point. Or getting a point. I apologize. I thought it'd be more, if I'm being 100% honest with you. The over-under is 39.5 points. If I'm going to pick this one, I'm going Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is kind of just the better team. And it'll be a straight-up situation because it's 1 point. Actually, no, I did read that right. The Saints are giving 1 point to the Jaguars, which is very surprising to me. They must think that the Saints and the Jaguars are kind of equally matched, so they're given the 1 point because of home field advantage. But okay, I'm going Jags straight up, and with the spread, I think that's very interesting there. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons heading to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is giving 2.5. Atlanta falling to the Washington Commanders. Tampa Bay, I think they had a bye week last week. Let me double check. Nope, they got their butts whooped by the Detroit Lions, 20-6. I'm going the home field with this one. To me, these teams are kind of evenly matched. That South is, I think the South is for the Saints to lose. I kind of think the Saints are the better team out of the four of them, but I'm going with Tampa Bay straight up and with the spread because I just think they're the better team and they're home. Do we have the Raiders heading to Chicago to take on the Bears? They did win Chicago, so I could say the Bears, but they didn't win last week. Last week they got beat by the Vikings, but the Raiders beat the Patriots barely, and that's because of Bill Belichick. But we'll get to that in a hot second. I think the Raiders, obviously, they're giving 3 points, even though they're a away team. I'm picking the Raiders in this one. They're just the better team. Chicago, especially with Justin Fields, I think he has like a dislocated thumb or something like that, dealing with injuries. I'm going with the Raiders, especially because you might not have Justin Fields playing. Next, we have Cleveland heading to Indy to take on the Colts. The Colts not having their starting quarterback either. He got banged up in their loss to the Jaguars, a 37-20 loss. Cleveland, like I said, beating on the 49ers. Cleveland actually has a pretty good defense as well. I'm going Cleveland here. I think they're just the better team right now. PJ Walker help them win against the 49ers without Deshaun Watson. What does that tell you? I'm going Cleveland here straight up and with the spread. 2 points. I think, if anything, if it is close, it'll be a 3-point game. So I'm going straight up and with the spread. Next, we have Detroit heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This one I think is going to be interesting. Detroit's 5-1. Ravens, like I said, kind of, they won last week against the Tennessee Titans. Detroit, like I said, beat up on their team. But I think this is a game where can they contain Lamar? This is a test for them. The Packers, they beat on them. They beat the Chiefs, but a lot of drops in that game. For me, I think this is one of the first tests for the Lions. I'm gonna go Ravens. I think the fact that the Ravens are home, I think this is going to be a really good game. But I'm going Ravens because they're home, and I'm going with the spread as well because it's a low spread of 3 points. Then we have the Buffalo Bills, who barely beat the Giants. Should have been a pass interference call and would have lost. Barely beat the Giants, taking on the Patriots, who for some reason thought it was a good idea to have Mike Gesicki block Crosby, safety. Game was over. Patriots are just in shambles. Won one game. Normally, I'd look at this game and be like, I don't know. 9 points is big. I'm picking the Patriots with the spread. I don't think it'll be that big of a difference. I do think that Buffalo's kind of dealing with something on the offensive side. So many people don't like Ken Dorsey and all that stuff. But I don't think it'll be a 9-point game. So I'm picking the Patriots on the spread. But straight up, I'm going to go Buffalo. I think they bounce back here. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Patriots come out and win that game. Then we have Washington Commanders heading to the Giants. Giants are getting 2, even though they're the home team. I'm actually going to pick the Giants here, straight up and versus the spread. I think they kind of started getting their stuff together against Buffalo. So I really like the way that is going for them. So I'm going to go with the Giants straight up and with the spread. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals heading to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. 8 points. The Seahawks are giving. I like Seattle's defense. That's kind of their bread and butter right there. See, I'm picking Seattle straight up. Where I'm having a conundrum is the spread because it's a division rival. 8 points is a lot, though. Over under 44.5 as well. I'm going Seattle with the spread, too. I just don't think Arizona's mentally there. They've beaten some teams that they weren't supposed to, like the Cowboys, but I don't think they're really there. They got the Steelers heading to LA to take the Rams. They got to make that West Coast trip. Rams are giving 3 points. This is interesting because the Steelers had a bye. And the Rams, I think last week, they beat the crap out of the Cardinals, 26-9. This is going to be an interesting game depending on how the Rams play. The Steelers started, bouncing back. They beat the Ravens and all that stuff. I think straight up I'm going to go Steelers, but I think I'm going actually Steelers straight up and versus the spread because they're getting 3 points. So I'm going with the Steelers in this one. It's something about Mike Tomlin. He's just that type of coach that you can really, depend on him. This is going to be a good game. You got the Chargers heading to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. Now the Chargers Monday night kind of dropped the ball, right? That dumb interception kind of cost them the game. But they were neck and neck with the Cowboys, which is telling because the Cowboys is a good team. And the Kansas City Chiefs, doing their thing still. I'm trying to think. Because the Chiefs barely beat the Broncos. And they're given 5.5. So spread-wise, I'm going to take the Chargers. Straight up, barely beat the Broncos. And I think the Chargers offense can do something. Spread-wise, I'm going to take the Chargers straight up. I'm going to take the Chiefs in that one. It's mostly because they're home. The Chiefs are home in that one. Then we have the Green Bay Packers heading to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are in shambles. The Broncos are falling apart. The Broncos are just not good. It is what it is. Is it Sean Payton? Is it Russell Wilson? Who is it? It is what it is. Green Bay, they've been sitting and waiting. I think they had a bye last week, so they've been waiting to play football again after losing to the Raiders on that Monday night game. I'm going with the Packers straight up and the spread. I think the Packers are the better team than the Denver Broncos. Then we have the Sunday night game. This is a huge game. 2 points. That's all. They're not even giving the usual 3 for the home team. They are giving 2 points to the Miami Dolphins. Now, I normally make my picks on Friday during my preview. But I'll give you a little taste of what I'm thinking with this game. I think this will be like the Chargers-Dolphins game week 1. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. So that over-under of 52, I'd probably take the over. I think the Dolphins offense is dynamic. I think they can get some stuff done, especially if Connor Williams is playing. And I'm afraid of the Dolphins defense being able to stop Philly with their dual wide receiver threat. So I would take the over on that 52 over-under. But if you want to know who I'm picking to win, you got to watch Friday's video. And then finally, we have the Monday night game. San Fran heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The away team is giving 7 points. I'm taking San Fran to bounce back. The Vikings are just the Vikings. They're just not that good. They're struggling, Bust City. There's a lot of talks about Kirk Cousins getting traded to a quarterback-needy team. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm taking San Fran straight up and with the spread. I do think they win by a touchdown. But that's what I got for you for the picks this week. Comment below. Let me know what you think if I picked 4 against your team. And like I said, to BetUS, thank you guys so much for sponsoring. And go check them out. The link in the description or pinned comment. Get 125% of your first deposit up to $100 match. Very good site, reliable site. And I showed you how you can very easily just make your picks. So other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think I'm gonna react to Mike McDaniel's mic'd up. So we see you guys tomorrow. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. I fence out.